Hi there guys, Strix here bringing you another update video over the new updates to Oldschool on June 16th, 2016. Now this week's update focused once again on the Catacombs of Kourend. We've had a lot of updates concerning this area. The new addition this week to the Catacombs is a demon demi-boss called Skotizo. At least I'm pretty sure that's how you say that. He is the archaic demon. Now, to start things off, I'm actually not going to talk about Skotizo quite yet, but I'm going to list something that is kind of small but important. It's the Arclight. The Arclight has been fixed to properly apply all your combat bonuses before applying the bonus damage and accuracy. Now, this means that the weapon is actually best in slot as promised. Also, the Darklight special attack has been added to it, which makes sense because it's obtained by upgrading your Darklight. So with that out of the way, we'll move on to the main update this week, which is Skotizo. Now to fight the boss, you must have completed a dark totem. These totems are found by selling monsters within the catacombs. You must collect 3 pieces of the totem to attach them together and complete it. By using the totem on the dark altar, you'll create a private instance where you fight Skotizo. That's right, the boss is instance, so be careful. Don't bring anything you're not willing to lose. I recommend that you take mostly untradeable items, since they are not currently lost on death. The Arclight is also a great choice for the boss, since the boss is a demon. It also has a few other nice uses for the boss fight, like one-hitting the awakened altars that he summons. One of the main rewards from the boss is the fact that it has a guaranteed chance to drop a hard clue every time you slay it. It also has a 1 in 50 chance to drop an additional elite clue. That's approximately 100k in values just from getting a hard clue, and with potential for much more if you get an additional elite clue. Also, ancient shards are guaranteed upon his death, which is anywhere from 1 to 5 shards per kill. Depending on the value that you place on ancient shards, you're looking at a very, very good fixed value on each Skotizo kill. On top of the guaranteed rewards, Skotizo also has a very generous drop table. You won't find yourself walking away from the boss disappointed. There are plenty of nice herbs on the table, like ranars, snapdragons, and torstals. There are tons of alkables, as well as a fixed rate on getting a shield left half. So Iron Men everywhere will be very thrilled to fight Skotizo and have a chance at that left half. There's even a chance of receiving another Dark Totem, and so you're able to immediately refight Skotizo. It's the 2-for-1 special. Just remember that the fight is instant, so if you disconnect, die, or leave for any reason, you will not be able to go back in. Don't waste your chance to kill this boss, because he's very rewarding. Now, I'd like to share my thoughts on the demi-boss Skotizo and his actual mechanics. The boss is not particularly difficult, but I don't think that should be expected from a demi-boss fight. Remember, Skotizo isn't a full-blown boss, he's just a demi-boss. Skotizo, however, has 450 hit points and a decent amount of defenses, which are definitely boss-like stats. His defenses are actually nearly on par with the God Wars dungeon bosses, like General Grador or Krill Tutzeroth. As long as you bring some prayer potions and you have decent stats, though, it's a fairly straightforward fight. I will say he's much harder than any other demi-boss currently in the game. His max hit is a 38, so you could actually die if you're not careful. Maybe you lose prayer or you lag or something like that. You could definitely die during this fight. He uses both mage and melee attacks, so praying mage when you're far away is a good idea, and then you pray melee when you're up close. He will mostly use melee attacks then. Skotizo will also summon 3 demons to fight for him when he is at half health. These demons can be simply ignored. Skotizo will also summon awakened altars that bolster his defenses even further. So if you destroy these altars, you will deal full damage to the boss. Therefore, it's recommended that you keep at least 2 or fewer altars up at all times to ensure that you're hitting the boss accurately. Now, I'd like to talk about Skotizo's drop table. Some of the drops on the table are very, very rewarding. Some of the key drops are 40 ranars, 40 onyx bolt tips, 150 mahogany planks, and even an onyx. All these drops are worth over 300k, and the onyx in particular is worth 3 mil, but is very, very rare. Since you can obtain dark totems mainly via Slayer in the Catacombs, this basically makes Skotizo a nice little slot machine that you get to play on after you do a few Slayer tasks in the Catacombs. You can reasonably expect to get 1 totem piece every task or 2 that you complete there. That means Skotizo is a very rewarding boss, but he's not very farmable. This is important. This is one of the main issues people have with Zulrah's drop table. Zulrah's drop table is both amazing and the boss is highly farmable. Jagex has tried to limit the amount that you can farm this boss per hour, meaning Zulrah, by decreasing the amount of Zulrah teleports that are in the game. But this does little to stop the bleeding. Zulrah is still one of the best money-making methods in the game. Here, the availability of Skotizo matches up really well to his drop table. The demon is rarely able to be killed by the player since they have to collect all 3 totem pieces necessary to even summon him. The value of his drop table, I think, reflects this, since none of the drops are worth less than 100k, and plus you have the shards and guaranteed clues, so I'd put a worth of at least 200k on each Skotizo kill. That's pretty amazing, honestly. I'm quite impressed that Jagex has made a drop table that is this outright rewarding for players, without making it completely overpowered. And I think this all comes down to the availability of the boss. I'd love to see this concept explored more in the future by Jagex, with either bosses that are difficult to find, or, you can only enter their lairs at certain times, or whatever. Limit the amount that players are able to challenge and kill these highly rewarding bosses for their amazing drop tables. I mean, because it really makes you feel like you've slain a boss, and you're adequately rewarded when you slay Skotizo. Now, this week also has the start of the Midsummer 2016 event. You have 2 weeks to head over to Taverley and do some daily challenges there to receive rewards. As with every old school event, you will receive the previous year's rewards in addition to this year's reward. The new reward this year is the Midsummer helmet. It basically looks like a tree you wear on your head. Looks pretty cool. Now, the Old School team is also running a bit of a competition this week to hype up the new Clue Scroll expansion coming later. They're releasing 4 unique solvable clues that when combined together will create a 5th incredibly challenging clue, they say. The first player to solve this 5th clue will forever be commemorated in the game, so I would get hunting if that sounds cool to you. Each of these clues reward a new piece of a cosmetic armor set, so be sure to do them if you care about Fashionscape. And as the final thing to cover this week, the quality of life updates and bug fixes, of course. Lots of fixed grammar and typos as per usual, probably more than usual this week actually, but the Old School team does a great job of fixing these every single week, so keep sending them in to those guys, and they'll continue to make the game a little bit better for everyone. The actual important bug fixes this week are ancient shards are no longer destroyed if they are dropped on death. This was a major issue that plagued Ultimate Iron Man in particular. It annoyed them to a great degree since by their playstyle, Ultimate Iron Man intentionally kill themselves quite often so they can move items in and out of their looting bags. A fix that I'm a big fan of personally is the filtering of messages generated by hunting maniacal monkeys. I remember when I was doing a video weeks ago, thinking to myself while hunting these monkeys that I could barely read my friend's chat and the CC because of all the spam from catching those stupid monkeys. Now, a change that more players will probably enjoy is that pineapple pizzas and Guth Express teas have been added to the tourney world. For those of you who are inclined for some PvP fun, this means that you can tick eat to even a more precise degree. And as the best for last, some of the Dagonoth spawns in the Zeah Catacombs have been moved to prevent them from wandering a little bit too close to Deviant Spectres. If you were killing those Deviant Spectres in the best place to kill them, then you would often gain aggro of the Dagonoths, and yeah, it wasn't really very nice. But that's pretty much it for this week's update. I hope you guys all enjoyed, and I will see you next week for more of my thoughts.